can do it from here.
All right, now we're running.
I understand because I gotta go.
Hi, Tone.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members, in California, multiple times a day, someone digging in the ground hits a natural gas pipeline. In my district, when we talk about pipelines, people think about the 2010 explosion in San Bruno that killed 8, seriously injured another 10, and destroyed 38 homes. We know that tragedy was caused by a faulty weld. What most people don't realize is that in testing its pipelines 2 years later, PG&E found that the next place the pipeline would fail was 15 miles down the road in the town of Woodside. At some point in the past, someone had struck this gas pipeline with a backhoe, leaving a dent and causing the pipe to fail in a water pressure test 15 years later, or years later. We've had other near misses in the past year. Last October, someone operating heavy equipment in an agricultural field southwest of Bakersfield struck and ruptured a 30-inch diameter transmission pipe. In February, a tractor outfitted with a ripper clawed opened a 10-inch diameter high-pressure pipe. In both cases, the operators were lucky. The gas did not ignite. When one of these pipes ruptures, the sound is like a jet engine and can sometimes be heard for miles. It isn't just the high-pressure lines that can be dangerous. Recent explosions across the country demonstrate that leaking gas from a damaged pipe can travel underground, collect in a basement, and ignite from the pilot light of a furnace or water heater. Natural gas isn't the only danger underground. In December, 2 contractors were seriously burned in Irvine when one dug into a high-voltage electric line using a jackhammer. And we should not forget what happened in Walnut Creek in late 2004. 5 workers installing a water main for the East Bay Municipal Utility District were killed when a pipeline carrying jet fuel ignited after it was struck with a backhoe. To prevent these accidents from happening, California and other states developed a system of regional notification or one-call centers. Excavators contact the one-call center 2 days before starting work. The one-call center notifies the utilities in the area. The utilities go out and mark the ground above their infrastructure so that the excavator can avoid damaging it. The system works when people use it correctly. Too often, however, it is not used. Sempra has noted that roughly 70% of damages to its pipes have happened when the excavator has failed to call. Contract excavators find that operators do not always mark facilities within the 2 days they are required to do. Excavators have also expressed concerns that too often facilities are not marked correctly, causing a worksite safety hazard. We have evidence that California has more presentable damages than do other states. National data shows that damages to underground equipment due to failure of an excavator to contact the one-call center are twice as likely in California than in the rest of the country. In June of 2013, my subcommittee under the Senate Energy Committee held a hearing asking the question of whether we are safer now than we were 3 decades ago. And I still don't have an answer to that question. I do know that in 1989, the legislature passed AB 73 to increase enforcement of the law by increasing penalties and allowing the Attorney General, a district attorney, or the permit issuing agency to pocket the fines that were collected from violations. This change has done nothing. In supporting AB 73, Southern California Gas Company had argued that their infrastructure had been hit 1,000 times in 1988. In supporting this bill, Southern California Gas and San Diego Gas and Electric cite 3,173 damages in 2013. Even given population increases and SDG&E's merger, this is a degradation of our safety since 1988. As there is very little in the way of state enforcement, the law is enforced through liability claims for damages. The contract excavators maintain, however, that utilities use their legal muscle to force settlements, and so adjudication of what is and is not safe never happens. Last March, I held a meeting with 55 representatives of utilities of all types contract excavators, and state and local agencies. I told them that I would not be the one to figure out how to improve excavation safety. They would solve this problem. In December, I solicited legislative proposals for reform. I received proposals from gas utilities, contract excavators, and the California Damage Prevention nonprofit, which is the California Regional Common Ground Alliance. These proposals constitute the bill before you today. Since December, my office has hosted 7 large stakeholder meetings to parse out the issues. We have had presentations from excavation safety organizations from 4 other states, and as you will see from the comments that will follow, there is much interest in finding a solution. Many conversations still lie ahead of us before we finally do so and create that solution. I want to thank you all for your attention this morning, because this is a serious issue, and I'd like the stakeholders, if they would, to come forward and share with you their thoughts.
Those in support?
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Bill Devine, and I represent AT&T. And we, too, are affected by digs and disruptions to our infrastructure. I want to thank Senator Hill for his leadership. We have not worked with a senator who has actually worked harder on trying to find a solution, and an inclusive solution, so all industry groups are carefully represented. We have participated in all of the meetings he has conducted, and we are committed to continue to do that. Of importance to AT&T are the people who do not call the 811 number before they dig. We must find an efficient and effective way of getting people to understand. They must be educated, trained, and they must practice the call before you dig to address this particular problem. It is the largest issue of public safety on our networks. Clarifying when people should call 811 and how facilities should be protected in an excavation is critical to avoid damage to infrastructure. And in our world, it can mean the disruption of 911 at a critical time. And it avoids the long-term misunderstandings and unnecessary delays and costs that are associated with this disruption of service. We think it's important that all the stakeholders stay at the table to search for these solutions, and that's why SB 119 is the legislative vehicle we believe that'll keep stakeholders focused on reforming the rules and practices in California. We believe public safety requires no less. We're committed to the process. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman and members, Scott Wetch on behalf of the California Coalition of Utility Employees and the California State Pipe Trades Council. Those two groups, the members, the rank and file members they represent, perform more than 90% of all the gas work, all the testing, all the high voltage electrical work that goes on. So more than anyone else, even the public, their lives are on the line every time there is a damaged piece of infrastructure that was outlined by the author. So while this bill still needs more work, this is certainly one of those bills that falls into the category that you most certainly can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. This is a major issue that could turn tragic at any moment, and so we applaud the author and look forward to continuing to work with them.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Israel Salas with San Diego Gas and Electric and Southern California Gas Company. First, I want to thank the author for his leadership on this issue. We, too, have also participated in all of the stakeholder meetings since December. As the author noted, more than 50% of the dig-ins within our service territory are attributed to those excavators that failed to utilize the 811 system. We continue to look forward to working with the author and the stakeholders. There's a lot to like in this bill. There's still a lot of questions that I think that we need to address, but the author has committed to transparency on this issue and has brought all the stakeholders together. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Ken Kaus with Pacific Gas and Electric. I'm actually surprised there's only been 7. I think there's been more meetings. There's a lot of activity in this. We're in full support of the bill moving forward. As the senator noted, we have accidents every day with people hitting our facilities underground, and whatever we can do to reduce the rate of hit would be a benefit. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Laura Bennett with Verizon, here in support and concept. We've been working with Ms. Senator Hill on all the remaining issues and look forward to continuing. Thank you.
Pete Conity, representing the Underground Service Alert of Southern California, one of the 2 call centers in California. We really want to thank the senator for tackling this issue and his able staff, because this is something very needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chair and members, Mike Dillon, representing the California Association of Sanitation Agencies, all the major wastewater agencies. And we want to also compliment Senator Hill and his staff for working with us on the issues that we had earlier raised, and appreciate that.
Madam Chair and members, Don Gilbert representing San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. Don't have a formal support position yet, but we're very supportive and appreciative of Senator Hill's and his staff's efforts. Also just want to add another issue that we've been working on with the senator and his staff in this bill is best practices for excavation, not just marking where infrastructure is, but the best practices in the event there's not a good marking. Thanks.
Madam Chair and members, my name is Brett Barrow with the United Contractors, the National Electrical Contractors Association, and the California Legislative Conference of the Plumbing, Heating, and Piping Industry. We're here today with a supportive amended position. We have been involved in the stakeholder process since the beginning. We think that there has been much progress, and we certainly support in instances where a contractor does not call, where a notification is required, that is not a promotion of safety on the job site, which is a top priority for all of our contractors, and we think that enforcement should actually absolutely be taken against them. But we also think to improve the program that we should have comprehensive reform that include, as the senator mentioned, the operators coming out and marking in a timely manner and also marking properly, because our workers' safety on that site is every bit as important as protecting the infrastructure that is there. We do have some concerns with portions of the bill, but the stakeholder process has been extensive. We would love to continue to work through this and work with the author on a solution, and we appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Todd Bloomstein for the Southern California Contractors Association. Also extending our thanks to the senator and his staff for his work on this issue. The dig alert law is far and away a worker safety issue. Our contractors come out onto job sites as third-party contractors, and they depend upon those sites to identify exactly where that infrastructure is when they're grading or excavating around it. So we look at this as strictly as a safety issue for our workers. We greatly appreciate the direction the bill's been going. We do have a supportive amended position. We'll continue to work with the senator, but we would like to see the bill move forward. Thank you. Thanks.
Karen Mills for the California Farm Bureau Federation, and I may have jumped the gun a bit. We don't have a position on the bill yet, so I hope it's okay, Senator Bates, to go
Since
forward.
you're in the chair, go ahead.
Okay. Again, we appreciate, like others, the opportunity to be involved in the process and work with Senator Hill's staff. It's certainly all-encompassing process and all of the issues, and we're very mindful of the safety and reliability concerns and the impact that it has on our members who are working around these lines. We were brought in and other ag groups early in the year. We hadn't participated last year and weren't aware of the process going forward. Certainly we agree that education is a key part of it. Accuracy about where the facilities are important. Obviously, for the agricultural sector, we're talking about rural areas that are large tracts of land that this implicates, and so trying to understand the pragmatics about what makes sense for certain types of activities. We submitted a letter outlining our concerns and identifying sort of the unique aspects that are associated with agriculture and both maintenance activities that are done on a year-to-year basis, but also cyclical activities that the agricultural operators engage in that might be more appropriate for the type of calling and marking that we're talking about. So we'll continue to be engaged in the process and all the meetings and trying to find out what way works for agriculture in terms of being safe and also that's workable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jamie Kahn. I'm here on behalf of the Associated General Contractors, and we share the support, if amended, position of our ally groups. in construction regarding, we like the approach that we're taking, but we have some concerns on the implementation on, especially the part, no call, we understand, marking, we understand. It's some of those other disputed areas when we do excavate and it's not correct, there's problems. Those are the types of things that we're concerned about. So anyway, we thank the author, we thank Tony, we've been working with them, and we will continue to work with them as we go through the process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Louis Brown, on behalf of the California Cotton Growers and Ginners Association, California Citrus Mutual, and California Fresh Fruit Association, like to affiliate myself with the comments made by the California Farm Bureau and express our appreciation to the author and the staff for the considerable amount of time that they've given to us in trying to work through this issue. I do believe that progress is being made each time we meet. There's a better understanding on everyone's part, and now we're just trying to wrap our hands around how we put it into words so that we can all best understand the liabilities and responsibilities that go with this. So no position at this time, but appreciate the time and commitment of the author.
They're new.
Are
Are they the same ones?
Yeah.
I
Yours
don't
is
come to
on.
this committee very often. Gail Delahunt with Western Growers Association. I just want to echo the concerns by the other agricultural representatives. Working through the 2.2.
Excuse me just a minute. Are you support if amended or are you none? Because
We have no position. We're just still at the table.
Let the none come up. All
Oh,
right,
the none?
Go ahead. You're part of the none.
We're part of the none.
Work in progress.
Got
I mean,
it.
you have no position at the moment.
Correct.
But you wanted to register that you believe it's a work in progress.
Yes.
And you're hoping it's going in the right direction.
Yes.
Did I say that correctly?
You said it great.
Okay, very good. All right.
Thank you.
And you also?
Also, same, Agricultural Council of California represent over 15,000 farmers from throughout the state, also working with the senator and his staff and appreciate the ongoing collaboration, and hopefully we'll be able to work out and address our issues regarding the unique nature of agriculture.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any more arguments in support of? Then we'll move to those who are here in opposition.
Hi, Maria Garcia with Greenberg Trareg on behalf of the Landscape Contractors Association. We represent licensed contractors who not only do large construction projects, but also landscape maintenance activities. And unfortunately, we've taken an opposed unless amended position. We feel, while we agree with the author's intent completely to encourage safe digging, we believe the overly broad nature of the definition of excavation will result in our landscape contractors calling a regional notification center to do everyday landscape maintenance activities such as mowing a lawn or trimming the edges. So we definitely are active participants in the stakeholder process, and we look forward to continuing our conversations with the author's office.
Thank you. Any additional arguments in opposition? There are none. Comments from board members or, pardon?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, Senator, I was going to abstain from this originally, but obviously you've worked very close with these groups. So in concept, I'm going to support this bill today and knowing that you're going to continue to work with these folks. But I just got a quick question. You're trying to figure out, because this is a tough issue. You're trying to figure out who's going to be liable when you've got underground lines, you've got all kinds of stuff. I mean, what are you are we trying to figure out who's going to be liable for all this stuff, or where's this going?
Thank you, Senator Berryhill, if I may. That is the issue, because right now, there's no one determining that. They will do it on a civil basis, whereas the utility will sue or will try to collect
because
from the damages.
right now, it is mandated that they go out and they look for lines or pipelines or electrical lines or whatever. They go out there and actually monitor for those, don't they?
Well, what they do is a contractor someone that's going to be digging will call the one-call center. They will call the utility within 48 hours. The utility will come out. They know where their pipes are, and they will mark the surface and let the contractor know when he comes out. Here's where the pipe is, and you have certain parameters around that where you will dig. The challenge has been, and depending on who you talk with, One will be that the people, they don't call, and there has been, in fact, 2 weeks ago with Senator Monning, from Santa Cruz to Watsonville, there was a large 30-inch gas line that was ruptured, blocked traffic for hours along Highway 1. In fact, he had to go around it, and he could hear the gas screaming from the hole in the pipe. Fortunately, the formula, the gas air mixture wasn't correct, and there was no ignition source. But that's where you had a problem, and this was very close to the surface. And so did they mark properly? Did they not mark? Did the utility mark properly, not mark properly? And did they call at first? That's the question that needs to be found. And if it didn't, right now, the enforcement is the Attorney General or the District Attorney. The investigation is the PUC. Frankly, they don't have the resources, and the District Attorney doesn't prioritize this as a challenge. But it is a life-threatening issue that needs to be addressed. And so what we're trying to do is craft and create a separate industry-controlled body that will be the arbitrator of this, and then determine liability, and then the cost and responsibility will work that way, working with the Contractors License Board. As the contractors clearly state, you're supposed to dig, and if you don't, you're supposed to call. If you don't call, it's a violation, and there should be some sanctions with that. So we're trying to formulate that, but there's so many entities. And just as and I can use this as my close to the landscaping contractors, they raise a very good point, and we are working closely, and we will solve their problems, because it's just trying to find whether you use hand tools, does that qualify, or does it have to be a mechanized equipment? But we will solve their issues.
That's one of those unintended consequences potentially, and so hopefully we can work through that.
Yeah, we will be able to, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Jackson.
Yes, very briefly, clearly this is a work in progress, and obviously the stakeholders everyone's trying to resolve the problem, so I'm also going to support it at this time. It will be coming to the Judiciary Committee, on which I sit as chair, and I'll be very interested at that point how this has all come through. But for today's purposes, I just wanted to be clear without prejudice to a subsequent vote. But I do appreciate this is an important issue and obviously complicated as well. So I thank you for your efforts and look forward to seeing how the bill evolves.
Thank you, Senator.
So with that, I'll move the bill.
I just wanted to make a comment, Senator Hill. I'm so impressed with what you've done today. We had a situation in my community that was a near miss, and it would have been almost like San Bruno. So thank you so much for digging into it. And certainly it's a work in progress. We all have our concerns about the two areas, agriculture and I think the landscape maintenance. Big issue for my communities that have a lot of HOAs that have landscape maintenance folks, and we don't want to slow that down. But in any event, I'm very supportive of the concept, and you've done some great work in getting us almost there. So
thank you, Senator.
I do have a concern about the education component. If you pass your contractor's license, you ought to know that you have to make the call. So I think a focus on education and then sanction if you don't follow what you're supposed to be doing is.
And we are working with the Contractors License Board on that.
Very important. So
thank you, Senator.
With that, would you like to, you do pass?
I just respectfully ask for an aye vote. Okay. Members, thank you on this concept.
Clerk, you want to call the roll?
Motion is due pass and refer to Governmental Organization Committee. Hill?
Aye.
Hill, aye. Bates?
Aye.
Bates, aye. Berryhill?
Aye.
Berryhill, aye. Block?
Aye.
Block, aye. Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. Hernandez? Jackson?
Aye.
Jackson, aye. Mendoza?
Aye.
Mendoza, aye. Wachowski?
Do pass to, is that Geo? Yes,
But just leave it on call.
oh, it will leave on call. How many votes? I'm sorry. 7. So it is on call. The absent members coming back.
No.
Senator Wachowski's
Coming back?
Yeah.
So that bill's on call. Please open the roll. Call the roll, please.
Motion is due pass and refer to appropriations. Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. Jackson? Aye. Jackson, aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye.
Okay, then we'll hold the roll open on. Is it Wachowski, did he vote? He didn't.
He's right.
Oh, Wachowski, you voted? Aye. Aye. He already voted. He already voted. Okay, very good. So that has 8 votes, so SB 408 is out. We'll go to the consent calendar. Please call the roll. That's item number 2, SB 146, item number 8, SB 590, and item number 9, SCR 25.
Block? Aye. Block, aye. Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mendoza, aye.
What was it total? Nine. Not that the consent calendar is 9-0. Those bills are out. Go to SB 531, Senator Bates, item number 7. Please call the roll.
Galgiani? Aye. Galgiani, aye. That's out.
And that's 9 votes. That bill has 9 votes, and it is out.
And finally yours.
And then, so we're waiting for Wachowski on that. So we have, oh. Item number 1, SB 119 Hill. Please call the roll.
Hernandez? Barkowski? Aye. Barkowski, aye.
Thank you. Very good. That has 8-0. That bill is out as well. That concludes the business of the Business Professions and Economic Development Committee for today. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.